Welcome back, everybody, to SPANK'UM Chess. I am B Hood. We're going to be talking about another Scandinavian defense, and this is the modern variation and how you can handle it. So let's check it out. Before we get into today's video, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to hit that like button, pound that subscribe bell to get instant notifications, and leave a comment, because every comment and every notification, every subscription means a lot to me. So please go ahead and hit that, and let's get to it. So the Scandinavian starts out with E4. Scandinavian starts out with E4, D5. So that's the start of the Scandinavian. This is the modern defense. When you go, when you play E captures D5, knight to F6. So with knight to F6, he's looking to he's advancing a piece. He's looking to capture his pawn back, and I easily just go D4. I'm not worried about that. He's going to get the pawn back. There's no need to try to fight and keep it going, to fight to keep the pawn back. A lot of us can get caught up in trying to gain that piece back. So my opponent captures back with the queen. So now in this particular moment, that gives me so I can gain a tempo on the queen with knight to C3. And my opponent goes knight back, queen back to D8. Queen back to D8. So he loses a tempo. That gives me another advancing play with bishop to D3. Bishop to D3, I get my bishop out. Now I'm one move away, preparing the castle on the king's side and start a fierce attack, and my dark square bishop has free reign. E6, knight to F3, and as you can see, with that particular move, the bishop doesn't have any scope at the moment, even though he can still prepare to go B7 and go, B6 and bishop to B7 and have the fianchetto bishop and apply pressure down on my G2 square. So he goes C5. So my opponent goes C5, which is a very good move, a strong move. He's immediately undermining my center. Nonetheless, I castle on the king's side. My opponent goes knight to C6. And here, slight inaccuracy. I go rook to E1. Slight inaccuracy, because I will go rook to E1 now. Now, my plan was to try to bait him in to capturing the pawn with the knight. I'm thinking that's what he wants to do. I want him to capture. I want to bait him in, because there's a nice little trap in this situation if played accurately. My opponent captures. Now, I couldn't do it just yet, because if I capture, he can capture back with the knight. I can't get the check for the check and then ultimately grab his queen. But so I go knight to B5. There's his mistake. My inaccuracy led to his mistake.
What the fuck's that mean, grunt shit?
And you'll see why. Boom. Knight B captures on D4. Knight B captures on D4, ladies and gentlemen. And what that will do is that if he greedily captures my knight, if he greedily captures the knight, I capture back. It's a free piece, basically. And if he captures with the queen, then bishop to D5 is a check, and he loses the queen. Knight takes D4. I capture back with my knight, and look at here. My opponent sees the plan. Bishop to C5. So in essence, it's all even right now. It's 50-50. However, my knight is ideally placed, and I can jump to that F5 square. What do we call it? F4 and F5. We call it the FU square. Let's check it out. So I go knight to F5, which is another slight inaccuracy. My opponent chooses a castle on the king's side. I go knight to H5. Knight to H4. Now you can see I've made a couple of inaccuracies, but I have these slick little ideas and plans. Knight to G3 was a better move. Black has a slight advantage, but I'm gonna fight my way out of that.
You said bullshit and experience is all it takes, right?
Right. Check it out. Bishop, queen to B6. Now, as you can see, he's made inaccuracies. I've made inaccuracies. We both had our share of inaccuracies, and we're not playing very accurate. But this is a very fine, thin game. We're staying roughly even. Boom. Queen to F3. So now I step my queen up into the game. I'm eyeing down on the F6 square. I have a bishop. My bishop is now going to be activated, and his light square bishop is trapped inside, as you can see, because of his push on E6. So now my opponent steps up to D7, and now I go queen to G3, further getting my pieces in line with his king and causing pressure. He goes knight to h5. So knight to h5 is a good move, but bishop to b5 was a little bit better to get my light square bishop out of the way. Bishop to b5, he's here, then he would own this. Either we're gonna trade out. He's causing pressure to he can force me to trade out. I go queen to f3. Now I'm attacking the knight, and boom. You see how it works? You see how it works? Now bishop c6 is a blunder.
Why, you stupid fuck!
As you can see, that is a blunder. Because now, boom, queen captures on h5. Queen takes h5, and now I'm threatening a checkmate. So he gets the check. I get out of the way, and hey, Tamara, I get out of the way. And now I'm threatening a checkmate. I'm threatening a checkmate. He needs to do something about that. You see it right there, ladies and gentlemen. You see it right there, don't you? He goes g6. Now, this is the second brilliancy. Pow! Knight captures on g6.
This thing good. You was quick. You was good on your feet that time, man.
That is brilliant because now I'm just gonna bum rush his whole side and the checkmate is looming. Bishop captures on g2. That is a mistake.
You throw a pretty mean punch, boy.
Now do you see, when you apply pressure, all kind of good things can happen when you're applying pressure. You can get your opponent to make mistakes, blunders, and inaccuracies. Let's go. So king captures, which is forced. King captures on g2. He captures back with pawn captures on g6, and pow, another. I'm just bringing it all the way to the house.
Say another motherfucking word, and this shit is over. And I ain't playing, nigga.
I'm gonna bum rush his whole king side, destroy everything, and get this checkmate.
Therefore, shut the fuck. Don't say nothing. Don't speak to me. Don't look at me.
Bishop captures on g6 check, not check, but you know, bishop captures on g6. So now look, he goes queen. He sees what's going on. He knows the check is coming. So he goes queen to c7, which was the best move in the situation. And now, boom, let's hit him again. Rook captures on e6. So now look at his pawn structure. I have connected pawns on the queen side. We both have a pawn on the H file, so that's not going anywhere, but my pieces are in attacking positions. My bishop is very aggressively placed.
It sounds like you're a man of experience.
And I'm a pawn up. Let's go. So now he goes rook A to D8. So rook A to D8, he doesn't capture the piece back because he knows the checkmate is looming. So now, boom, call a check anyway. Let me get that. Let me clear off this whole king side. My pieces are lined up. My dark square bishop is waiting to be activated and is looking very, very ugly. Checkmate is coming up soon, ladies and gentlemen. Queen captures on h7. Now, rook to g6 check. He knows that it's over.
Who's the master? You say.
He knows, my opponent knows it's over. He may have a slight fighting chance because my king is exposed. My king is exposed. However, it looks like I'm in a bad position because his rooks are aggressively placed. They own this rook is they own these files. They own 2 files, but my queen and my rook is down there, and my dark square bishop has a lot of scope. My dark square bishop has a lot of scope. And now I can also swing. My rook can also be activated to go to E1, D1, or F8, F1. So let's see. So there it is again. King to H8 is another mistake. That is what pressure does. 2 things. Pressure can bust a pipe. Pressure comes in 2 different ways, ladies and gentlemen. It's either applied or received. I'd rather apply the pressure than receive it. Let's go. Rook to H6. Now that's a miss. I believe I had a checkmate before then. Let's see. It was a mate in 3 right there. On the evaluation board, there's a mate in 3, and I didn't see it. Now you can see how I make the mistakes. I make mistakes too because the pressure was going, and I remember mentioning in my other video how Napoleon had once said, the closest you are to victory is the closest you are to defeat. So take your time, breathe, and think through it. I'm looking to try to gain the queen. So rook to H6, even though it's a miss. Rook to H6, he's going to lose the queen. Ooh, boom. Rook to D7 is best. I capture his queen. He captures back with the rook. Now I'll go queen to E5. That was the move I should have done 2 moves ago, but I do it now. Queen to E5 is best. and he blocks it, check. He blocks the check with his rook, causing another check. I slide my king out the way, king to h1, and now he's threatening my queen, trying to get my queen out the way, looking for a checkmate, but I easily stay on that diagonal, stay on the a1, h8 diagonal, pinning his rook. I have to pin the rook, and the next move, any other move, if he moves his king out the way, then bishop to d2 could save. It's going to be the saving of the day. Rook to c5. So now he's chasing the queen around, but I easily bishop queen to f6. So now I'm threatening. I could have called a check, but I didn't. But I go queen to f6 to continue to pin that, continue to pin his queen. I mean his rook to the king. I want to keep that pin up, and now I'm threatening the bishop on f2. Rook. Now there it is. There. Now you see the inevitable, ladies and gentlemen. This is what you call the inevitable. Pow! Right there. Queen takes f2. I get the bishop and the game. It was a very well fought game. So let's give a round of applause to my opponent. He made a few errors. I made a few errors and mistakes, but those 3 brilliancies made me feel good. So until next time, this was just a nice, good game. Another game that I've explained to you in the Scandinavian, but this is the normal variation, the standard variation, as opposed to the Queen A5 variation that I've done previous videos on. So if you like to like, subscribe, and comment on this video. And until next time, this is SPANK'UM Chess. I am B Hood. Peace. Hi-yow. Here we go again. Dynamic and tactical game. 83. And now, here we go. Welcome back, everybody, to SPANK'UM Chess. I am B Hood.